Joined on the phone today by Mike Amos, who is at Panama City Beach, Florida. Good morning, Mike.
Good morning, and the sun has just come up over the horizon, and it's a beautiful, beautiful morning in Panama City, and I'm watching and drinking a hot cup of coffee and eating a donut. I'm living the life of Riley down here, and of course, you can, as far as you can see, it's beautiful, beautiful sunset and waves and quite calm. If you're down here on break, you couldn't ask for a better day.
Now, there are a lot of people down there. Is it still spring break for many people, or is it over?
Oh yeah, a lot of people are still enjoying spring break, and it's a good many people down here right now, and of course, I'm sure it's going to be more and more as the week goes on.
Well, I just returned from a week vacation in Disney World, and boy, there were a lot of people down there. But Disney knows how to handle large crowds. I bet I was there when they had the largest crowds in the last couple of years, because they shut down the park for COVID for months and months, and then they slowly ramped back up. But with spring break and this past week, and most of the mask and COVID requirements are no longer applied, they had crowds that they hadn't seen in about 3 years. So we were down there with hundreds of thousands of people, but the large crowd.
Everybody that said, "Hey, Ryan, did you run into any people that you knew?"
It's funny. One of my wife's best friends, Camille from high school, Jeff Davis High School, she took her 2 kids, and her mother went down there, and I think it was on the 3rd day we were at the Animal Kingdom park, and we were just walking and walked right into them. One of my wife's closest friends. So we spent about an hour or 2 with them. But besides Camille and her family, we didn't see anybody that we knew of those hundreds of thousands of people. Look, I'm going to show everybody. I brought a souvenir. We were there at the 50th anniversary of Disney World.
Oh, boy.
Which was so that means the park was opened in 1972, Mike, when I was 7 years old. And they had a lot of special events because of the 50th anniversary. The one that probably impressed me the most was the fireworks display. When the park closes at 9 o'clock, Magic Kingdom closes. I knew about the fireworks, but what I didn't know about was this fancy light show they do. They call it projection, and they project and change the lights on the Magic Kingdom castle as the fireworks are going off, and on the whole Main Street. And so the effect of the fireworks and the changing colors of the castle was awesome. And then
did they have sort of a parade? Now, they had a parade during the day. Did they have anything like that at night?
No parade at night, but this big fireworks. Everybody comes in and watches that and packs in. But it's worth seeing.
Every night you had those kids up at least at 9 o'clock, didn't you?
Well, that was the other parks have fireworks too, but this was the only time we stayed up that late to see the fireworks. And then it concludes with a Tinkerbell 100 feet in the air going down some wire, flying through the air at night.
Tinkerbell.
And I looked over at my wife, and she had tears in her eyes when that event came to a close. So that was one of the high points of my trip, was the fireworks on the...
What time? I would have thought your kids, you mean they were in bed by 9 o'clock?
Well, on that night, the fireworks started at 9 o'clock, so it lasted about 30 minutes. So then we left, but you got to remember, we were up at 6 o'clock, 5:30 every morning. So that's when you got a 6-year-old and a 10-year-old and a 56-year-old, you've been going for 14 hours. You about 8 o'clock, you're ready to head back to that resort.
Well, tell us about sort of how your day went and the things you saw.
Well, the first day we did Magic Kingdom, and that's the signature theme park. And we started with one of many roller coaster rides.
Oh boy! Was there ever any roller coasters you said, "Oh, I don't want to ride it"? You were trying to be brave.
Yes, good question, Mike. The last day I rode one that I'd heard much about. It's called the Rock and Roll roller coaster. It's promoted by the band Aerosmith.
Yeah.
And it's their fastest roller coaster, and it's the only one that goes upside down a couple of times. And after I survived that one, which was a close call, I said no more roller coasters. So the kids and the wife, yes, they loved it, and I was worried about them getting sick, but they didn't get sick. I would say Maggie and Jack just loved all the roller coaster rides, and I survived most of them. But that rock and roll roller coaster got me, and I drew the line after that and said no more roller coasters. But,
we're looking right over the beautiful Gulf of Mexico as the sun rises here in Panama City Beach, and a lot of vacationers coming in here But now we start back school today, didn't we, right?
Started back yesterday. Vacation's over, holiday's over, but the good news is they can probably see the light at the end of the tunnel, don't you think, with school ending in...
Yeah, I would think so too.
And so you got April and May.
I would think summertime is not far off.
That was always my favorite time of school, was the last 2 months of school. You know, you got the prom to look forward to, a lot of all the senior events, special events, you know, the field days for the kids. It's all downhill from here, man.
Well, I know now your first day was a lot of excitement. Was Jackson, was he excited?
Yeah, man,
the first day down there?
Everybody was super excited. My wife did a great job of planning everything. You know, you've got some long lines for the big rides, but they have something called the lightning lane that you can use your phone device, and 2 or 3 times a day you can get access to a ride where you just walk right up to the front of the line, Mike, and you don't have any wait. So there were at least 2 or 3 rides every day, you know, some where you would be in line for an hour and a half. And I mean, there were a couple that were in line at least an hour and a half. But then there would be other big lines where you get to go, you know, it takes you 5 minutes and you're at the top ready to do it. Here's the way I would rank the rides. Soarin', which is in Epcot, was my favorite. That's the one where they put you in some kind of car, and it's like you're almost in a magic carpet ride, and you take a tour of the great attractions of the world. It's 3D, and you feel like you are flying. You know, you start, and I think, you know.
So y'all did most of these rides together, didn't you?
Oh yeah. We did them all. Sometimes it'd be all 4 of us together, and then sometimes it'd be Maggie and Mom in the front row and Jack and me in the back row. But soaring, you fly over the Alps, the desert, you see the Eiffel Tower, and then you end up back at Disney, and it's like you're seeing the world in about 30 minutes, but you're almost bumping into the Matterhorn, and that was an awesome ride. And then the ride that is the most hyped at the moment, Mike, is a Star Wars ride called Rise of the Resistance. This is their big new ride they added a couple years ago. Incredibly complex, big. You have actors, and it's had all kind of issues because of the complexity of the ride. It breaks down often. So we kept hearing these stories that the first day we were there, when we arrived, we heard, oh, the Star Wars ride broke down 4 times. So you think about that. People sit in line for an hour and a half or 2 hours, and then they get close to where they're getting ready to go in, and they tell them, oh, sorry, the ride's broken down, come back later, start over all again. Fortunately, that did not happen to us, and that ride lived up to the hype. Took about 20 minutes, and you felt like you were on the Star Wars Death Star. You saw Darth Vader. It lived up to the billing. And then the other one I would mention is the Avatar ride, which is kind of like Soarin'. It's one of these 3D rides where you literally feel like you were flying and going off of cliffs and down by rivers, and those would probably be my 3 top rides. And then the entertainment, it was fun. The meals were fun. There's a place called Disney City that isn't a theme park, but there's a lot of fun shops and good restaurants. It was all accessible from our resort. You could take a canal or a river ride to Disney City. You just walked down in front of the lobby, and then you just jumped on a big pontoon boat, and you had a real scenic weaving ride to Disney City. We enjoyed that too. When was the last time you were down there? You remember?
Oh gosh, it's been a long time, but I mean, it was a lot of fun and all that when our children were younger. But now it's time for my kids, my grandkids, to see Disney World. So I know they're excited about it.
Well, they'll have a great time. I think Michael said that they're going in December.
Yeah.
That'll be fun. I think we did a good job. We waited until Jack was 6, and so he should remember it, and he was able to walk around. A lot of walking. So when you go, start walking before you go, because you're going to walk. I think they have these apps on phones now that can record how many steps you take in a day. In the first day, Carrie said that hers said she walked 17,500 steps, however many miles that was in our Magic Kingdom day. So you're going to do a lot of walking, and you'll go from 7 o'clock in the morning until about 9 o'clock at night, but there's always something to do. You can, when you get hot, and it gets hot later in the day, about 2 or 3 o'clock, and it was good to find a restaurant or a bar if they had one, or sit and watch one of these shows in the air conditioning that would last about 30 minutes. One of the best shows we watched was the Raiders of the Lost Ark Stunt show. Mike, I'm sure you've seen that show. It's one of my favorite movies with Harrison Ford.
Yeah, oh yeah.
It's had some stuntmen, and they recreated several of the scenes from
they recreate the huge ball that
Yep. They sure did.
I remember that.
They started off with that scene where he's going into the cave, and and he almost gets killed 8 times, with knives coming up out of the floor, and then the ball chasing him. And all right, somebody is calling. Hold on a second. Guten Morgen. Is that Michael?
Yeah.
Well, you missed my first 9 minutes recapping Disney World. You just have to go watch it on Facebook.
Was it stressful or enjoyable?
It was enjoyable. It was not as much stress as I thought. The Disney knows what they're doing. The transportation system is really efficient and kind of simple to understand. The lines can be really long, but some of the lines aren't that bad. They weave you. You don't line up in a straight line, of course. They weave you like a snake back and forth, and a lot of the times you're inside, out of the sun. And in some of the lines, you have neat stuff to look at while you're in line that deals with the attraction. So you're actually kind of entertained even while you're in line. And then, as I was telling your dad, you'll learn about, if you don't know already, about the lightning passes. Sometimes you don't even have to wait in the line. You just go straight to the front, which is a nice break after you have just stayed in line for an hour and a half in one ride, to go to the next ride and just walk straight up to the front is really nice.
Man, an hour and a half, I'll lose my mind. I go ahead and tell you that.
Well, get ready for it. Like when you do the Star Wars ride or the Avatar ride.
I mean, how in the world can you keep their attention for an hour and a half? I would lose my mind.
Well, you know, as I was there are things that you can look at and see in the line. In the lines, they keep the lines moving. So it's very rare that you're just standing there. You're moving, so that gives you, and you don't really know how far you got to go because they snake you back and forth so much. And then you go around one corner, and then you finally get inside a building. I say that you have these long lines, and it's not as bad as you would think.
Well, I'm going to officially say on this show, this is the first time this has ever happened in my life, filling out an NCAA tournament bracket. I did not have one Final Four team left.
I don't think.
Oh, gosh. But you know what? Nobody else did either.
I know.
I mean, I had Gonzaga, Arizona, UCLA, and Auburn in my Final Four. I had Gonzaga and Arizona playing for the title, and Gonzaga winning it. I mean, I'm absolutely embarrassed, but looks like the Blue Bloods, North Carolina and Duke, decided they were going to play when it came to tournament time.
They sure did. Boy, but you know what? I wish that they would have been in the other brackets, or Mike could have seen North Carolina and Duke for the championship. I think they probably have two teams.
I mean, Final Four, that's still not bad. And Kansas has really gotten a lot better as the season's going on as well.
They sure did. They sure did. And for some reason, I thought Miami would upset them, but they didn't.
Yeah, I did too. Miami was leading by 6 at halftime. And you talk about getting blown out in the second half. I mean, there you are winning by 6. And then you end up losing by 25. So they got beat by 31 points in the second half. Miami.
And Villanova, Jay Wright, I mean, all that guy does is win. I mean, he's just phenomenal.
You're going to win. Steve said he has Villanova. I bet Steve might be the only one that has anybody in the Final Four, so which means he's automatically going to win the pot.
We've got his bracket. We'll find out exactly how well it is.
Yeah, I mean, I had 10 teams left of the Sweet 16, and then after all the debauchery, I had only one team left in the Elite Eight.
Oh, I was in the same boat, but you know, everybody in America was. I mean, right from the beginning, St. Peter's beats Kentucky. And then I had Auburn. I had Auburn going to the Final Four. They lose in the second round. I had Arizona winning it all. And Arizona, I think they got beaten in Sweet 16 pretty convincingly. So, wait, I'll get them next year.
Yeah, that's what a lot of people are going to say at this point.
Well, unfortunately, Panama City Beach was under fire this weekend, and Chamber of Commerce and the mayor and everybody around the country saw a black eye when it came to the crowds at certain areas of Panama City Beach. Had to shut down several restaurants and bars and confiscated over 80 weapons over the weekend.
Oh, my God.
Down at Panama City Beach.
And they said a large number of those folks were from Alabama. How about that?
Yeah, 78 of the 150 people arrested were from Alabama. That's kind of sad.
Oh, boy, that is sad. You just need to go to the right places and be satisfied. You know, don't go to these places where you know there could be possible trouble, you know.
Well, you know, they're already trying to shut stuff down in Destin, Crab Island. There's all kinds of social media events posted for all these groups, large groups, to meet together at Crab Island and at all the resorts and hotels in Destin. And now the Walton County Sheriff's Department has already gotten involved trying to shut all that down. It's kind of crazy, all the different chaotic events for spring break going on down here. I mean, Seaside had issues a couple of weeks ago where they had to go to curfews and shut down a lot of parties and events. It was all triggered through social media, though, through your phone.
You did?
Well, hopefully it'll get better, and I think it will. The and all of this, all the fun you can have on the beach that's still out there. Beautiful, beautiful beaches. It's a beautiful day today down here.
Well, I wonder.
Yeah, it's gonna be 78 today. It's gonna be nice.
Well, there were. I'd like to find out. I'm gonna research it. How many people were at Disney World? Just massive number of people. Even despite the. Here's the. I paid $4.02 for a gallon of gas, gassing up the car before I left Troy. On the way back, I started to run out of gas, and so I had to just pull off anywhere that I could because I only had about 15 miles of driving left. You know how much I had to pay? I paid at that place I had to stop at? $4.65 a gallon. So.
Oh man.
But it didn't stop people from going to Disney World, and I guarantee it hadn't stopped people from going to Panama City Beach or the beaches of 38.
That's right. Let me ask this: when you were going to Panama City, was it once you got on 75 south, was the traffic pretty rough?
Terrible. It was just the turnpike 75. The traffic was for 40 miles was either 0 miles an hour. You rarely got up to 50 miles per hour. Obviously, there had been some accident or something that caused the traffic to come to a snarl. But I thought we were making good time. It was kind of stressful because we had a dinner reservation at one of the hot restaurants at about 5 o'clock in the afternoon. And I thought, oh, we're going to make this in plenty of time and have time to relax in the resort hotel when we get there. Well, once we hit that bad traffic, that was up in the air. And then on the way back, going north on 75, the exact same thing happened. Just probably an hour and a half there where you're just barely moving. You know what I think it is? It's traffic accidents, I guess, but these traffic accidents are probably caused by people texting and looking at their devices. I bet there are more and more traffic accidents than there used to be, but I don't know that, but I'm just theorizing.
Of course, texting is against the law a lot of places,
Well, on the interstate highway, if there's one or two lanes that are blocked, it is going to back up for 50 miles in a hurry. And I bet if that traffic was backed up for 40 or 50 miles.
Mike Amos calling in from Grayson Beach, Florida. How does it look down there from this early morning, Mike?
Oh, the sun's already out down here. A lot of Alabama folks, Tennessee folks, Wisconsin, Indiana. I'm seeing the gamut of people down here. I drove back from Tennessee on Saturday. I was up there for a concert on Friday night, and traffic from Chattanooga to Birmingham was absolutely nothing. And then we got on the road Sunday and hit a lot of traffic from Birmingham to the beach.
Michael, when are you going to grow up and stop going to these wild parties?
I mean, I like music. I mean, I always will go to concerts, but
wait a minute, you're still going to a musical concert?
Who did you see in concert?
I saw Bob Weir, the Grateful Dead, was playing in Chattanooga. But
wait a minute, no, did you go see Grateful Dead?
He's actually your age. I actually went and saw a guy 74 years old perform. It's pretty amazing. But I actually ran into my cousin Susan Crow and her husband Steve, so we got to hang out with them before the show. Her son that plays for Vestavia Hills was playing in a soccer match against Baylor Prep up there.
Mm.
Oh, okay. And where Baylor Prep?
Chattanooga is a tremendously nice town, though. I mean, the downtown area is just through the roof. Nice. All the buildings are newly remodeled or refurbished, and they've revitalized that city like you've just never seen. I mean, it's like a tourist destination now.
Yeah, well, they got a famous aquarium. So I've been to it.
Oh, you got the Tennessee Aquarium, and then you got all these art museums, and then you got the Lookout AA baseball stadium downtown. Every Saturday they get a huge farmers market. Tons of great restaurants. Of course, that's not even counting. You got Signal Mountain You got Lookout Mountain. You get all the attractions at Rock City and all that other stuff. I mean, we don't even go to that stuff.
Man, I tell you what, the biggest mistake I ever made in my life was go to Rock City.
Me too, Mike. I took my wife on a little honeymoon getaway in the Smoky Mountains, and I said, you know, I have never seen Rock City. So I took Carrie to Rock City and the caverns and.
Oh boy.
Well,
Chattanooga. We went through Chattanooga's campus downtown, and it's right in the middle of downtown, just like UAB. And, I mean, they got a basketball arena that holds 10,000 people. They got a football stadium that holds 35,000. I mean, it's just hard to believe they're not Division I in football.
Yeah. I'm sure University of Tennessee's got something to do with it.
But, you know, a lot of people don't realize last night, South Alabama, they were in a basketball classic tournament. So they got to play their first 2 games at home in this tournament. Troy, I mean, I feel like should have gotten this tournament. Then they played Coastal Carolina last night at home. South Alabama had 2 of their starters out. Coastal Carolina and Cliff Ellis, the great coach that's won like 850 games, came down there, went to overtime, and Coastal Carolina hit a 3-pointer at the buzzer, 1 second left, and beat South Alabama.
Wow.
But isn't that crazy that they were playing basketball this late?
Yeah, you know.
Final Four going on.
I looked at the line of that game, and it was South Alabama by 1 point. And I said, I'm going to lay off of that one. Thank goodness I did. That sounds like a great game, though.
Was this a tournament? NIT tournament?
How much did
Postseason tournament called the Basketball Classic, where South Alabama got 3 home games out of it.
How much did Troy lose in their tournament by?
They got blown out. They weren't even close. They were down by 21 at the half.
But
I mean, Troy, if somebody wants to explain to me how Troy didn't play their 2 starting guards in that game, I'm still trying to figure out what happened there. Yeah. They didn't play Duke. They didn't play Duke Dean or Duke Miles and got beat by 12.
Yeah. Well, it's over with at Troy now. Now they get down to the recruiting. I would think they'll go out get some kids on this special, what I call this specialized recruiting. It just would you call that specialized recruiting?
Well, it's the portal.
The transfer portal. Yeah.
Yeah, the portal.
I'm watching last night, and I'm watching the scroll on the bottom of the SEC network, and half the text is about people who have entered the transfer portal. So now you got to watch the scroll to see, like South Carolina's basketball team had some guy that was a freshman All-SEC that's in the portal. So go grab him.
Yeah, you're right. We got what we need to do, knock, or whatever we got to do to get some. We've got to get people that can shoot the basketball, the 3-pointer. Everybody, you watch any of these games, they got a guy that can fill it up from 3.
That's right. You're right. If you can shoot the ball. And it seems like there'd be more people that could, as much as people play basketball from the time they're 5 years old, you would think more people could shoot the basketball. Yeah. But no.
Hey, congratulations to your little nephew. I know this. He was winning the last time I heard.
Oh, good. Is Pike LeBlanc still winning?
Yeah, and he had, I know he had pitched 6 innings. I don't know how. I think it was enough to get the win.
Well, he's got a bright future. I bet he's happy he moved to Troy and is an athlete at Pike LeBlanc School.
Who were they playing in that tournament, Mike?
I don't know. I'll have to look at that.
Yeah, of course, they had a lot of baseball being played. Troy lost 203 to Texas. Well, Texas.
I'll tell you what, y'all. Let's look at there's the Messenger. You can read all about Pike LeBlanc's baseball at the Messenger. And all your favorite teams, all the high school and college teams, the Withering Insurance Group. You're in good hands with Allstate with Perry Green.
That's right.
Max Credit Union, that's my friend Pete Jordan is the manager out there. So thank you, as always, to all our advertisers. And speaking of advertisers, let's take a commercial break and look at some of their commercials, and that'll let me get some more coffee, and we'll be right back in 2 minutes. Little Caesars Pizza. We had a Little Caesars Pizza.
Slam Dunk Savings are in Troy. All used cars, Slam Dunk price. All used trucks, Slam Dunk price. All used SUVs, Slam Dunk price. Plus, all you need is a weekly take-home income of $350. Nobody beats a premier deal. Nobody.
Montgomery, get ready for WWE Saturday Night's main event. The women of Raw take center stage as big-time Becks, the EST, and the Nightmare collide for the Raw Women's Championship. Plus,
I am a revolutionary. I am a visionary.
Seth freaking Rollins. It's WWE Saturday Night's main event, April 23rd. Tickets and Superstar Experience packages on sale now.
The all-new Troy Regional Women's Diagnostic Center brings all of the latest and advanced 3D mammography and breast ultrasound services to the Troy area in our all-new outpatient facility. Dr. Lauren Thorington, along with our team of certified breast specialists, read your mammograms, which are performed by our registered radiologic technologists, bringing the best in women's healthcare to the Troy area. Troy Regional Women's Diagnostic Center.
I wish you could taste how much better food tastes when cooked on a Green Mountain grill. But I can let you in on the reason that's true. Our pellets contain water, so they create steam while you cook, keeping your food moist. Does a gas or charcoal grill do that? I think not.
Come and see us at Southern Grill and Patio just off the square in Troy.
Slam Dunk Savings are in Troy. All used cars, Slam Dunk price. All used trucks, Slam Dunk price. All used SUVs, Slam Dunk price. Plus, all you need is a weekly take-home income of $350. Nobody beats a premier deal. Nobody.
Game, they played Glenwood. They won 5-4. They beat Edgewood Academy 15-0.
All right, right now, are we all break?
No, we're back on the air, and I was just catching up on
good.
Pike LeBlanc's baseball since I've been down in Orlando, and so Pike only beat Glenwood 5-4. Glenwood is always good. Now, are they in Pike Liberal Arts classification 3A or are they 2A?
Yeah, they're 3A. They're 3A.
They're 3A, and then they beat Edgewood Academy.
That's Phoenix City, you know.
Well, the point I'm making at is everybody thinks a third straight state championship in baseball is a given, but it might not be because you have to get past teams like Glenwood.
Yeah.
So
I'll tell you one thing, right? It's a given when that young man is pitching, that young left-hander is pitching for Pike.
Well, that's true. It's good to have
They
that.
beat Edgewood Academy 15-0, and then the last game they played was a away game, non-region. They beat a team called Southwest Georgia Academy 12-1.
Oh boy! So they're
that was yesterday. They won 12-1.
Yeah, and of course, you know that Southwest Georgia is my friends down there, and gosh, what's the name of that town? But they're well respected in Georgia. I know that.
Well, they have.
Are they near like Bainbridge or somewhere around that?
Yeah, that's right. They're near Bainbridge.
It's interesting to see who Rush Hickson has scheduled. I mean, basketball team did the same thing too. I mean, they play people from all over the South. It's really interesting, impressive. I mean, they play. I would say that Pike LeBlanc's baseball has already played teams from Georgia, Florida, Mississippi, and Alabama.
Oh yeah.
And I think they played one travel ball team that was from the Dominican Republic.
Yeah. I'll tell you the one game that tickled me. You know, about a week, they lost a tough game to Pensacola Catholic. You know, Pensacola Catholic, one of the top teams in Florida. They lost that game 5-2. But you know what? 4 or 5 days later, Pike played that same team and beat them 12-5 or 12-4. So this is Pike turned around and got them after.
I like that. They wanted to get revenge.
Actually beat them. Beat them 16-5.
Yeah, that's right. 16-5 is pretty good. But of course, a lot of baseball being played during the holidays, or during I reckon you call it the holidays. But they're having a good time, and a lot of them are down here enjoying the
How is Tucker Chilcrease doing in baseball in Brantley?
No, I hadn't been able to find out. I know he's a good left-handed pitcher I don't know if he's left-handed or right-handed, but he's a very good pitcher.
Troy football's in spring training too. So they're in spring training. Alabama's in spring training. Auburn's in spring training. Auburn keeps on having more guys in the transfer portal. A lot of them aren't starters. No, I think guys just want a chance to play. I don't know if Troy will be able to pick up any of these guys.
Troy's just, I don't know if Troy's got any scholarships available. That's what's really important. I don't think you can get enough linemen, and hopefully we're going to get more offensive linemen.
Yeah.
Troy needs to do the Alabama policy where you have a lot of guys have a medical hardship.
Yeah.
You clean.
What is your little girl saying, Michael?
She's saying.
She's asking me if Queens can take princesses to jail.
Oh gosh. That's my little darling granddaughter.
No.
Yeah.
I didn't know you could take anyone to jail.
Okay.
What has Millie got to say this morning?
I don't know. Every time we take our kids to Birmingham, they end up with a stomach bug. So everybody got sick. And been having to deal with that, too, since we got back. So it's always something.
Yeah. Where does their school start back?
It started back yesterday, but Millie didn't go yesterday. We kept her home.
Yeah. Okay.
School.
Well, you did a good job.
We'll
Beautiful day.
We'll see y'all. We'll see y'all later today. We're coming over there today.
Well, I want to go watch Troy scrimmage with our new coach and check out the quarterback situation.
Well, Tuesday they will be practicing today, and you could go down and watch them, Bryce. Just walk down there and watch them.
I know it. Hey, we got a call. Let's see who it is. Somebody, if somebody might have to pop off. Okay.
All right, that's fine.
Good morning. You're on Today in L.A.
Good morning. It's Will Matthews. How y'all doing this morning?
Hey, Will. Good. This is Bill Rice. I'm manning the booth here in Troy. Mike is at the beach. Michael's at the beach, and Mike's at the beach. Hold on a second. Let me put on.
All right.
All
right. So one of y'all hop off.
All right, I will.
All right.
Who is it? Who's on the line?
There's Will.
All right, I'll hop off.
I'll hop off and call back in about 20 minutes. Okay. All right. Let's see. All right, we got Will. Will, what's going on?
Not much. It's my week at the beach, but I'm not going. I've got court.
Oh man.
And then I'm going to the senior golf tournament in Gulfport this on Thursday, the Champions Tour.
Good. You gonna see your cousin?
I am, and I'm gonna see Brian Gay also. He's from Daleville.
Are you still playing in the? Are you still playing in the pro-am you were talking about doing?
No, I'm not playing in pro-am. 4,500 is a little steep to play one round of golf.
Oh yes, very.
That's a little steep. What's funny though, 2 years ago I signed up for it, and it was at Fallen Oak in Biloxi. They moved it to Grand Bear in Gulfport now, but I put it on my credit card. Didn't even know how much it was. I was determined I was going to play in it. And it got canceled by COVID, thank God. And they credited my credit card for like $512 or something.
Oh God. Well, you know, next week is Masters Week.
It is.
So you know, all of our brackets are busted in the NCAA tournament. So, but at least we can look forward to the Masters. I will say on the NCAA tournament though that I'll be watching Duke versus North Carolina in the Final Four. I mean, it doesn't get any better than that in basketball.
I'm taking my daughter next week on Friday. We're gonna go on Friday.
Good.
And we'll go over Thursday night, go Friday, and come back after the tournament.
Well, I would say that
one day.
Early favorites, I'm going to put keep John Rahm up there, but who's this new number one in the world?
Scotty Scheffler's won 3 times this year.
Yeah, he is tearing it up.
He's tearing it up, and he's from Texas, and he's a good player too.
Did he win the match play tournament? He was leading when I was.
Yes.
Yeah, he won. They beat Kevin Kisner. The guy that's due and has played pretty well every single week of the season is Justin Thomas. He's due to have a breakout weekend and finally win a tournament.
Well, I'd love for him to win the Masters. Have that on his resume when he retires.
Seems like when in the Masters, though, there's always a great foreign player that always plays well. That's always high on that leaderboard. That'd be something that'd be interesting to wager. See what some of these money lines and some of these odds are. You might could really get some amazing numbers.
Oh yeah. There's all kind of bets you can make in golf, and one of them is a international player going to win or a U.S. player going to win. You can get a line on that.
I'm picking Rory McIlroy to win. He's never won the Masters.
Yeah, that would be his Grand Slam, wouldn't it?
Yep. He's won everything but the Masters.
Well, I look forward to that more than I would say. Except for Alabama football games and SEC football, I look forward to the Masters more than any other sporting event. And then I'm talking to a guy that has been to about 50 of them in person. What's it like? What's it like in person, Will? I mean, is it compared to being on TV?
You can't compare it, Bill. I mean, you wouldn't recognize the course. TV flattens everything out. This is a very hilly course.
Mm-hmm.
And, you know, there are holes that you like number 10 drops off 100 feet down to the green. I mean, it's completely downhill, and number 18 is completely uphill. And you got some holes that are downhill and uphill. I mean, it's a lot of hills on that course.
And TV just doesn't capture it. And then I guess the greens.
You just can't. Yeah, TV does not. You can't tell anything watching TV.
And the greens, there's so many undulations on the greens.
Oh yeah, the greens. Trevino once said Trevino never won the Masters. He won every tournament but the Masters. He said they got elephants buried in the greens. You know. Trevino never went in the clubhouse, and he played the Masters probably 25 times.
Why not?
He never went in the clubhouse.
Why didn't he do it?
Because they were racist, and he's not gonna honor them. So guess what? He put on his shoes out in the parking lot.
Oh my gosh. Well, he said they were racist. They weren't racist.
They were racist too, Bill. They were very racist. There's no question about it. They didn't have a black member until the late 70s, probably.
No, I bet it was in the 80s. It was after Shoal Creek when we had that controversy in Birmingham. Then Augusta finally said, "Oh, we better get an African American member in a hurry."
They've got several now, but
yeah, that is stunning and shocking that how long it took them to be integrated. Still, it has so many unique features to it. so much tradition that there is no other tournament that comes close to I mean, if I was a golfer and you could say you can win one tournament, I would want to win Augusta over the U.S. Open or the British Open. How about you, Will?
Oh, I'd love that. That would be the jewel, because once you win the Masters, you're basically a member of the Augusta National.
Yeah. You can play every year in it for the rest of your life, almost.
Well, they've cut that off to 60 now. When you're 60, you got to quit playing.
I wonder though. Yeah, okay, but I guess you can still qualify. Like Bernhard Longer, will he qualify this year, or
Bernhard Longer will play because he's still on the senior tour and he's still playing good golf.
Okay, they'll let him play.
They'll let him play. But there was a guy named Doug Ford. I'm sure you don't know who Doug Ford is.
I've heard the name. But
Doug Ford won the Masters one year, and he went every year until he was like 78 years old, and he'd shoot 100 and just ridiculous. Finally, that's when they said no more.
They said, Mr. Ford, somebody had to have a conversation with Mr. Ford.
They just said no more. Sorry. But he would do it because the last place player in the Masters got like $10,000, so he wanted that $10,000.
Yeah, but he probably never even made the cut. But he was trying.
No, never.
Now, how do you watch the tournament? Do you just pick one hole and stay there, or do you walk the course, or do a little of both?
I've been 52 times. I've walked the course 3 times. That's all. Out of 52 tournaments. You got to find a spot and sit down, and you know, that's the only way to watch it. It's just.
Do you got a favorite?
The crowds are just too big.
Do you have a favorite spot that you like to get?
Oh yeah, I sit in the grandstand on number 11, and you can watch number 12, the par 3, and number 11 from that spot. That's a perfect spot. There's a spot on 15 I like too. To the left of 15 is a grandstand. You can watch 15 and 16 from there.
Okay.
But it's very, there are a lot of mounds. I mean, you can see. Only problem is the crowds are so big. It's just hard to.
And they'll be back. They'll be back this year. Hold on a second. Let me get to this call. All right, you're back on.
And how y'all doing this morning?
Hey, we got Will telling us about giving us some Masters viewing tips. You know, he's been to 52 of them, and the Masters starts next. Practice rounds will start, I guess, on next Monday.
Hey, Will, I want 2 hats, 2 Masters hats. I want one that looks like a velvet, sort of a light purple, and the other one I want pink.
You want a visor or a hat?
He brings me back hats every year, and I appreciate it.
God, Will, you must have a list of 20 people you get stuff for.
Now, back when I used to go for the whole week, I'd spend $2,000 or $3,000 in the pro shop.
Gosh.
I know it.
Well, I hope people reimburse you for all these gifts.
Oh,
they do. They do.
But most everything I got from Will Matthews, one of the Masters.
I have a Masters hat that a friend got me, and I've got a Masters shirt that somebody got me. And man, I've worn them for 15 years.
Was that friend's name Mike Amos?
Well, I think that Masters shirt might have come from Mike Amos. The Masters hat came from my friend Charles Bradshaw. Went over there a couple times and.
Oh yeah, that was fun.
Got a hat out of it. I got when I just got back from Disney World, Will, and the only souvenirs I got one hat, and then I got my fan. When it was hot late in the afternoon on some of these days, so you needed a fan. But the kids got a lot more than 2 souvenirs. My wife, I don't think she bought one thing for herself the whole week. Can you believe that? She organized the whole trip.
You got
I'm sure you all spent a pile of money.
Yeah, we saved up, and as you say, we got a lifetime of memories, and so it was worth it, I think.
All right, I'm going to let Mike. Is Mike on the other line?
Nope, he went off, and so it's you and Will. Hang on.
Okay,
I'm going to get off. Hey, Bill, I'm going to get off, and you get Michael on.
Well,
no. You hold on here. Wait.
Well, I want to know what's going on in the political world. Is there any races we need to be watching? What about this Senate race? You want to handicap that?
You know, they say this Durant guy is really coming on. Now, I don't know him. You know, I heard Mo Brooks is going downhill, and this Katie Britt from Enterprise is up there, and this Durant's up there, so it'll be interesting.
Katie Britt is the successor to Senator Shelby. Didn't she work with him for a long time?
She was his chief of staff. Now she works for the Business Council, I think.
So Shelby has thrown his support behind Katie Britt, correct?
Oh yeah, sure, yeah.
And he probably gave her a lot of his campaign money. I think you can do that.
She's raised millions of dollars, Bill, millions.
Okay, somebody else is calling in. All right, Will, I'll call in tomorrow. All right, see ya. Well, he dropped off. Tell him to call back, Steve, and we got room.
I'm ready to get off if you need.
No. Will's gone, and that was probably Michael calling back, but I wasn't quick enough
I want
to
to
get
mention
him.
one thing very important. There's a blood drive going on today at the hospital, Troy Regional Medical Center, and it starts at 11:30 and it will run to 4:30 today. And it's located right in front of Troy Regional Medical Center. And you can call them today and set up your appointment. And of course, they want any walk-ins because it's a big
shortage.
Drive, and it's always, you don't ever get enough blood.
Yeah, so say that again. It's starting at 11:30 today at the hospital. There's a blood drive that goes on until
4:30.
4:30. All right. So
if you go to www.redcrossbloodDrive.org and get more information of it. But giving blood is the right thing to do all the time because there's always a need for blood, and I hope that everybody that can will go ahead and give this today.
Oh, that's
blood drive right at Troy Regional Medical Center.
Yep, I think you can. If you're 17 or older, you can donate blood, and it is a wonderful thing. It can save people's lives.
It's Friday. It's not today, man. It's Friday.
Oh, I'm sorry. Okay, so Friday.
April 1st.
Friday is April 1st, April Fool's Day. All right, everybody
right.
Everybody get ready. Somebody's going to try to trick you.
And you know what? It's my daughter Macon's birthday. April Fool's Day is my sweet, and I'm sitting here eating a donut with her right now.
Are you really?
Yeah.
Well, happy.
Looking out over the beautiful Gulf, and we're really having a good time this morning. Of course, she's already had one donut already.
Well, happy birthday in what? 2 days? 3 days?
That's right. One day, Macon Epps will be 8 years old.
Happy birthday.
8 years old Friday.
8 years. That's right in between mine. I've got one that's 6 and one that's 10.
Yeah. To let you know where we are, I can see as far as Pinnacle Port going one way, and as far as the pier here at Pier Park to the left. So that's my view. All the way from Pinnacle Port to the right, and from Pier Park to the left.
Wow. I had one of the high points of the Disney World trip was going to Epcot. Epcot's neat itself. But what it was particularly impressive this time of year because they have a floral festival, Mike. I think they have it every year between March and June, and the flower arrangements were just breathtaking. And they have these hedges that they shape into Disney characters. So interspersed throughout the park, you know, you would see hedges like Goofy or Mickey Mouse or all the Disney characters, but the color of the flowers and then how big the flower gardens are and how well maintained, you could have just enjoyed the flowers and the shrubs and the gardens all day.
So y'all spent the whole day at Epcot too?
Yep. Epcot was I don't know what to say about it. Epcot was a long loop all around, and you go every 50 yards you get to another country, which the little country enclaves are interesting. Okay, here's a call. Hold on a second. Hey, hold on. Michael, are you back?
Yeah, I have some cell service issues down here. There's so many people down here, and cell phone usage is awful.
Well,
I hear you good. Right, is you good?
I was trying to describe Epcot, and the one drawback to Epcot is it doesn't have enough shade, and it's a long walk to go from, like, say, the first country you come to, I think it's Canada, and then England, and then to go all the way around the big lake they have and get over to Mexico is probably 2 miles, and it's on concrete, and it gets really hot, and so you got to find a little shady spot. That's what I was always looking for, was the shade. So I never made it all the way around. I got to about a little past Italy, and I said, that's enough. we did eat at a real good Italian restaurant, and we saw Mary Poppins in the gardens in England. I talked to Mary Poppins myself, and she talked to me. We made small talk.
So, Rice, I tell you what, it looks like you did it right, man. Now your children saw all the countries, though, didn't they?
They did. They kept going around, and I think, Carrie, you think about the things you missed. There was a place in Mexico that's famous for their margaritas, and Carrie, before we went, she said, "Oh, I want to get one of these margaritas at this place," and I don't think she got a chance to. So that's sad. But I mean, Japan, India, China, England. I had the fish and chips at a cute little restaurant in England. That was my favorite. Then Germany, with their and all of the architecture of those countries is perfectly captured. And then you look fronting the buildings, you have this big lake. And then you look back to the Epcot globe. Every park has a signature feature. At Epcot, it's that big, looks like a golf ball, really.
Let me ask you this: did y'all see a lot of animals?
Yeah, we did. There's one called a park called Animal Kingdom, and that you can go on a safari, which we did, and we certainly did. We saw rhinoceroses and. We saw elephants, we saw hippopotamuses, we saw lions, we saw cheetahs. Yeah, saw a lot of animals. Saw ostrich. The safari was really good. They've got a good safari, which is like a zoo, but you get to ride through it on a safari type truck. Takes about 30 minutes. And
that was fun. That was a lot of fun, I bet.
I can't remember if it was there or somewhere else. We saw crocodiles, which I'd never really seen up close. They're so much bigger than alligators, and we saw some crocodiles. And then I didn't know that Disney, we've talked about aquariums. Michael just mentioned Chattanooga has a great, the Tennessee Aquarium. Well, Disney has a really good aquarium. I didn't know that. It's in the near the Little Mermaid ride. part of the Little Mermaid ride, they have a quite impressive aquarium where we got to see sharks and big giant sea turtles.
Was that SeaWorld? Did y'all go to SeaWorld?
No, we thought about going on Saturday, but we looked at the one-day ticket prices and said, "Nah, we're not going to go." But we did not go to SeaWorld.
What was the weather like? Was it real hot?
Most days it was okay. There was one day I thought was the day we went to Epcot got really, really hot about like after 1:30 to about 4 o'clock in the afternoon. That it was too hot to be walking around.
That's what everybody tells me. If you go certain times of year, they say it's like in this unbearable heat.
You find you a restaurant or an inside show in those hot hours. In the morning it is perfect. It is great. It's cool, and from about 8 o'clock if you stay in a resort, which I think y'all are going to do, Michael, you can get there. They let you in early, and so about your first 4 hours are going to be fine, and then after lunch it can get a little hot.
But it's by far the best thing to do is, even though you might be paying a little bit extra, is to get inside the park. Isn't that right?
I think so. I mean the bus system is so good. They let you in. There's perks. They let you get to the park 30 minutes before the people that don't stay in resorts, so you get a head start to go to your favorite ride early in the morning and get in line early. And the resorts themselves, we had one day where it was scheduled as a rest day. That was Wednesday, where we did 2 parks on Monday and Tuesday, and you are tired. And on Wednesday we didn't get out of our resort. Well, we went to Disney City.
Hey, Mason, do you want to talk to Mary Prater?
No, Dad, they're at school.
Oh, that's right. I'm sorry. Boy,
but I would say you're going in December, so that shouldn't be an issue at all. The heat, that'll be perfect, probably.
Yeah, we're going to try to go after Thanksgiving weekend. We talked to a lot of people. I got a friend that goes on there every month, and we got several friends that have the Disney passes that live here in Florida, and they were telling us we're trying to figure out a date to go where it's not going to be super crazy, and they say that's when it's not super crazy. So.
We went where they had attendance like they haven't had in.
It's going to be the week after.
3 years, but Disney can handle it though. They know how to handle big crowds.
Do you see a lot of people from other countries, I guess?
Not a lot. A couple. I don't think international travel is big yet. But we looked at license plates on the way down there, and we started up conversations with people. And
how many Disney Worlds are there now? I know there's 2 in America. There's 1 in London.
No, there's not one in London. There's one in Paris, in France.
But there's not 1 in London?
I don't think they have one in England. No, they have one in France, and then they have one in China, don't they? Or Japan?
Japan has one.
There's at least 4, maybe 5.
Or Jay Barker's daughter, who was a player at Georgia, is now transferred to Alabama. Her coach left and took the Texas A&M job, so Sarah Ashley Barker, who was the Alabama State Player of the Year 2 years ago, is now going to be playing for Alabama basketball team.
Oh, boy, they're like that. Is she really a good player, Michael?
She averaged 8 points a game last year. She averaged like 24 a game, 11 rebounds in high school at Maine Park.
And her mother is the movie star, isn't she? Her mother is the...
No. That's
the singer.
Barker. No, that's from Barker's first wife.
Oh, okay. Wait a minute. Who was that?
Yeah. Jay Barker didn't have any kids with Sarah Evans.
Oh, okay. They married to the recording artist. Isn't that right?
Used to be.
He used to be. No, they're divorced now.
You mean they're divorced? I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Yeah. There's a lot of stuff going on we could talk about.
Yeah. We'll lay off.
Okay, I got you.
We won't get into that.
So Jay Parker is a single man. Is that right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
His son, that was the walk-on quarterback, he finally got in the game. Thank you, Coach Saban, for finally putting that kid in. He got a couple snaps one game this year. And now he's a graduate assistant, or he's an analyst. He's going into coaching. He's on the staff at Alabama.
Let me tell you a couple of things I learned this weekend. the analyst poll, Alabama has 35. They have 35 coaches in their what do they call it? Their
gosh, you kidding?
They have some
not on the field coaches, analysts role.
They're not,
offensive analysts or defense analysts. Yeah.
And Alabama has more than anybody in the country, and evidently it's paying off for them. Let me tell you something I heard. I watched last night. I was watching a show and they were talking about earthquakes. Do you know? I'm going to ask you this question: where is the most obvious place in America for an earthquake, other than San Francisco? What would it be?
I think they say around like the Tennessee, Memphis area is really bad.
You're exactly right. They say one of the worst places you could be for a earthquake is Memphis, Tennessee. I would have never thought it.
Yeah, I'd always heard that as well.
And the Mississippi River.
A big fault. Yeah, a big fault that could have earthquakes. Yeah.
You would think people wouldn't even want to live there, knowing all that. They act like that they will one day have an earthquake.
Well, if I remember from my reading of history that back in the early 1800s, I believe they had a massive earthquake there that reversed the flow of the Mississippi River, is what I remember.
Yeah.
But that was 200 years ago. So once every 200 years or so, you're right. You're going to have a hum. And if they had one today, like there was nobody living out there. There was just all wilderness then. But if they had one today, oh gosh, it would be.
You know the great philosopher is the one that predicted it. Over years ago.
Notre Dame.
Yeah, something like that. But I caught that to be very interesting. I had no idea that Memphis had proclaimed that the most obvious place that inland to have.
You know that
be an earthquake.
Troy has had an earthquake before. When I had the Troy Citizen newspaper, I wrote a little story, and it's your next door neighbor who felt it, Emily Green Ellis.
Yeah.
I don't know where she was living. This would have been about 15, 20 years ago. She was up in the middle of the night, woke up and was fixing herself some milk or something in the refrigerator, and she felt something in her house, tremor. Sure enough, the natural media, the group, the seismic group, said there was like a 4.1 earthquake in Troy, Alabama. I mean,
she had to be living on Crow Hill. She had to be living right next door to Dad.
I want to say maybe she was at her parents' house out on the Shellhorn Road, or.
That's right.
Well, we can ask him. Emily will confirm this that she felt a little tremor. Things moved, and believe it or not,
the only person around to feel this.
Because it was like at 1 o'clock in the morning, and she was the one that. I'm sure other people.
If I opened up a can of worms, now Emily Ellis had had an earthquake.
So there has been a earthquake that recorded on the Richter scale, and it actually moved stuff around here in Troy, Alabama. A little trivia.
Yeah.
Going to mention Troy baseball tonight. We'll play at Riverwalk Stadium in Montgomery against Alabama State. Troy 16-7, Alabama State 12-12. The game will be at 6 o'clock. They'll have fans are invited to a pregame social. They'll be held at the Club Car Bar located down the right field line, beginning at 5 p.m. in advance of the game. Complimentary food and drinks will be provided for fans to enjoy. At the same time, there'll be a mix and mingle with Troy T-Roy, Director of Athletics, Brent Jones, Bears Troy head coaches. Members of the athletic department and Troy Alumni Association will all be in Montgomery tonight for the Troy Alabama State.
That'll be a fun time and good food, free food, and fellowship. I promise you, if you go, you'll enjoy it.
When are the 8A games at Alabama and Auburn? They're usually on the same day.
I can look and see.
I've heard
it's at 4 o'clock. It's going to be played at 4 o'clock on the 18th, I want to say.
Okay, good. Well, I'm going to be there. That'll be fun. As far as Alabama, I haven't been keeping up with sports page too much since I've been to Disney World, but I did read that this transfer running back from Georgia Tech is impressing a lot of people. So he might be a player that Alabama got.
Oh boy.
Oh yeah, Gibbs is his name.
Mm-hmm. Remember that name, Gibbs? I wouldn't be surprised if he's the starting running back next year for Alabama.
Well, he was a former 4-star running back, so he was a guy that a lot of people kind of expected to be pretty good. I think Alabama recruited him pretty hard. He rushed for like 1,000 yards at Georgia Tech last year.
And I say he's also a really good receiver out of the backfield.
Yeah.
He seems to be the whole package.
The Tech run the wishbone around the option, Mike?
No, they had gone to the spread. Yeah, Troy's got one of the last spring games of the year. They're April 23rd at 4 p.m.
And they got a lot of things planned too.
So April 23rd will be the TA game. It'll be a week after Easter. Easter's on the 17th.
Yeah.
Easter's coming up.
Easter is coming up.
So here's what we got. We got the Masters coming up next weekend. We got the Final Four this weekend. Then we've got Easter. Then we've got the 8A games at Alabama and Auburn. Then we got the T-Day game. Then we'll have the baseball season winding down and teams trying to make the tournament. The high school teams will try to make the playoffs. Untitled Arts is going to try to. This is amazing. I don't want to jinx the Patriots, but if they can win a state championship in baseball this year, that's going to be 6 consecutive state championships in all 3 sports for Untitled Arts.
Oh yeah.
I mean, that might be a record that'll never be broken. What do y'all think?
I agree. It's been phenomenal. And the fun thing about it next year, they're going to be going up against a lot of people, a lot of teams that people around here know about. That's your Arringtons and your Long Skippervilles.
Yeah, that's next year.
And your Escambia County. I mean, it's a world of competition around the corner.
Well, first they want to exit the AISA on a strong note where they'll always be remembered. But next year it'll be a completely different animal. You're right.
Yeah, that's gonna be a lot of fun to cover too, isn't it?
Mm-hmm. I can't wait to see them in baseball because there are going to be some great rivalries, and Untitled Arts can play with any team from 7A to 1A in baseball. You would think.
Well, that one person though that will be missing will be Drew Nelson, who I think maybe is the top pitcher in the whole state classification, any classification. Drew Nelson of Troy, Alabama, is the top pitcher in the state this year.
I wouldn't be surprised if he is. I think
that's right.
And he'll probably be drafted too, so he'll have a decision to make on. Does he want to go ahead and start in the pros or go to? I got a feeling that he's a big Auburn fan and he's going to want to go and play at Auburn, which I can't blame him.
Yeah, he's already committed to Auburn to play baseball at Auburn.
Yeah, but
he's already signed.
That doesn't matter. I mean, Brian Meadows committed to LSU and got enough, went early enough in the draft and went to the major leagues. You can get out of the commitment.
Yeah, I know it, but he can go to the pros. But what I'm saying in baseball, he's already signed with Auburn to play for Auburn next year.
He is signed. You're right.
Yeah, just like Brian. Brian is signed to play with Skip Burtman at LSU.
I realize that.
Imagine if Brian Meadows would have went to LSU, he'd have won 2 or 3 national championships under Burton.
But he did the right thing because he got that polish and that experience, and by the time he would have been a junior or senior at LSU, he was pitching in the big leagues.
Yeah, exactly right.
Need to mention this. Troy's hired their cornerback coach Travis Pearson, former Alabama State defense coordinator, also South Alabama defense coordinator, also Alabama A&M defense coordinator. So a lot of previous experience as a coordinator. He'll be your new cornerback coach at Troy.
What's his name again?
Travis Peterson. He replaced Al Poe as cornerback coach.
We also have the NFL draft coming up, which there won't be as many Alabama players as were selected last year. But there's a couple of former Troy players that I think might go pretty high. Marcus Jones is going to, as a kick returner and defensive back. I haven't seen any projections, but I would think for sure he'd be a 3rd or 4th rounder. And then that wide receiver that went out to Texas Tech, I bet he might get a chance too.
Yeah.
Oh, Geiger.
Of course, this show is brought to you by Premier Dodge, Chrysler, Jeep, and Ram trucks on the bypass right in Troy. If it doesn't say Premier, you don't want it. I promise you. If it doesn't say Premier when you're dealing, no better place to go than Premier Dodge, Chrysler, Jeep, and Ram trucks on the bypass.
Yes, these cars today are like your truck that you got from Premier. It is so comfortable on the highway. So when I took a 420-mile trip to Orlando, that would have been really nice to be in your pickup. Although that the Nissan Rogue we took was smooth too.
I know it was. And we appreciate all of our dealers across the land. And of course, Mike, we've got a big week of college baseball, and we're looking forward to it too.
Yeah, I'm reading some articles on Marcus Jones. Reading some articles on Marcus Jones out of Enterprise, but a lot of people are concerned about his height. He's only 5'8", which is a very short.
He is short, yeah.
He's projected to be selected in the 5th round, but you know his kick returning is what he's known for more than anything. So he kick return specialist, punt return specialist. I'm sure he'll get drafted.
Yeah, just because of his explosive plays he can make in punt and kickoff returns, that'll get him drafted. I think you're right. But that is short for a defense.
You know, Troy lost so many close games over the last 3 years. You got to think he would have been a difference maker on a kick return or a punt return.
Yeah. I have made that point. You talk about the transfer portal. You've got that guy, and he stayed healthy for the last 2 years. Yes, Troy has 3 or 4 or 5 more wins than they have right now because he changes the game with a kick return, and also he is a very good defensive back. And for some of those years, that was Troy's weak spot, is you couldn't break up a pass or stop the other team from passing, and I think he would have made some plays as a defensive back. So that's what happens. I mean, when you it's who you lose, and if you lose 1 or 2 difference makers, that affects you. That's the difference between a 6-6 team and an 8-4 team. You know, is losing one player like that.
Kind of amazing though that he actually sat out the bowl game, Houston win against Auburn, when he's only going to be a 5th round pick. That's kind of interesting that he made that decision.
Yeah, I know it sure was.
It wasn't like he was going to be like he was going to be like a 1st rounder.
Yeah. But somebody's telling him something though. That's really, I'm sure.
You know, you can't really blame. I mean, it's 5th round or not, but I mean, what he was doing was guarding against a devastating knee injury that would take him out of the NFL, perhaps.
Yeah.
You know, I saw where Jamison Williams. This is how much the NFL thinks of him. That he has a torn ACL. Probably won't be able to run, participate in anything before the draft. But I've seen drafts now have him going in the 1st round at number like 15 already.
Wow. He was some kind of player. Well, Alabama lucked into him, or I don't know, they didn't luck into him. They went and got him, but it is a great what if he hadn't got hurt against Georgia, and then the other receiver hadn't got hurt. I think Alabama, they're not even talking about the 2 defensive backs Alabama lost, but I think Alabama beats Georgia if they have both of those receivers.
What time do we got now? 8:20?
8:19.
Want to definitely mention the big sale going on out at Premier, and of course, they've got a huge what they call a slam dunk sale is still going on at Premier Dodge, Chrysler, Jeep, and Ram trucks right here in Troy.
Well, they
got. I was driving by and saw a lot of Ram trucks when I was heading from Birmingham to the beach. A lot of Ram trucks on the road.
No question about it. There's a big sale going on now. That what they call the slam dunk sale, and then when he said slam dunk, he means it with tremendous sales opportunities right here in Troy.
Go out there and check out that the slam dunk sale at Premier Dodge Chrysler Jeep.
And Ryan, we got a call from Billy, but I still would love to find out how I think he won the game without any question. Was the pitching performance of Bobby Rice's son?
Yeah, well, Will's pitching a fair amount this year for a sophomore.
Yeah, I think.
But that Pike Liberal Arts roster is just loaded from top to bottom, and their pitching staff goes about 5 deep. I don't see any weaknesses from third base to first base, outfield. It's just full of great players. Now, I wonder how many seniors they have. We're talking about them next year playing in the public school league. I think they're going to lose some really key players. Drew Nelson and Jeff Coate, don't they lose him? He's awesome.
Yeah, both of them.
Their shortstop that transferred in, that was a quarterback on the football team, he'll be gone.
He's already signed with Georgia Southern. Yeah.
And he's a really good player. So there's 3 right there that they're not going to have next year.
Yeah.
I was watching. They do like a drama performance, like a theater performance of Pike Liberal Arts, and I was watching on Facebook yesterday. The quarterback can really dance. They're doing a performance of Grease.
Oh, really?
Okay, yeah.
How about that?
Yeah, so that'll be like a fundraising event at Pike Liberal Arts. He's playing John Travolta's character, and then Wes Allen's daughter is playing Sandy. I saw.
Oh my gosh! Was it a long, big production of Grease?
I mean, it looks like they're going to do a actual performance of it. It looked like it was pretty good from what I was watching on Facebook.
Well, I don't know how he.
I guarantee you it'll be a good performance.
I don't know how he plays baseball and goes to all the practices and auditions, and rehearsals for a big play. That's impressive.
Yeah, he's already signed with Georgia Southern in baseball.
Yeah. I've seen
Carson Eubanks.
I've seen family videos of the Mannings and Peyton when he was in high school, and he was a little ham that liked the camera too. And you see things where he was in school productions even when he was in high school, and you can see that he was good in high school. So it's really not surprising he's been so good on all these TV commercials and Saturday Night Live appearances, because he was doing it in high school.
I'm watching.
This kid is talented.
I'm looking at some draft predictions, and right now they got Matt Corral possibly going number 18 to the New Orleans Saints, the Ole Miss quarterback. I feel like that'd be a great fit, him going to New Orleans.
He doesn't look real physical. I don't know if he's physical enough.
I don't know, man. He ran for 200 yards against Tennessee this year. Ran about 30 carries. I think he runs.
Yeah, I know. Those were college. That was college defenses. I don't know if he can hold up against a pro defense.
It does not look good for Gus Malzahn as an offensive coach and a coordinator and Malik Willis, I think, was running third string at Auburn. And Malik Willis was picked to go number 20 to the Pittsburgh Steelers. That just tells you the difference in what Hugh Freeze as an offensive coach did with him compared to Gus Malzahn.
Yeah. Yep.
The movie I was watching last night, Mike, is about that Ole Miss signee years ago with the movie.
Michael Orr, The Blind Side.
Yeah, the Blind Side. I saw it again. It was fun. It was fun to watch.
Hollywood kind of got a hold of that script, and I read an article from the actual player, Michael Ward, and he went back and said several things in that movie was not the case. So,
that's the way it always is. They embellish for dramatic effect, quite literally, quite.
Of course, Hollywood's got all kinds of stuff going on from the Oscars.
Oh, we got to talk about that. And this is what everybody in America is talking about, and we're going to talk about it in the final 5 minutes of our show. Well, Mr. Amos, did you see that on the Academy Awards?
Yes, I saw it. Pretty good right hand.
Yeah, well, he played Muhammad Ali in a movie. Will Smith did, so he knows how to punch. But you wouldn't expect him to go out there and slap him. He actually slapped him with an open hand.
Yeah.
Good thing he did. I'll tell you.
I like Chris Rock. I mean, what world do we live in that a comedian can't be a comedian? I mean, what do you expect a comedian to do? He's going to be controversial and make jokes about people. That's what comedians do.
Yeah. I know he said the wrong joke, though. It looked like one guy didn't like it.
I guess so.
Yeah, I know, but you go on national TV and do that, and then you actually win the Oscar for Best Actor.
It's
that's just unprecedented, crazy.
It's surreal. Who would have thought that there would be a fight? Somebody hit somebody on live television in front of hundreds of millions of people. One of the biggest stars in the world, two of the biggest stars.
Yeah, one of the biggest comedians of all time.
Then they have some terrible. Then he comes back with some terrible language. And then, like Mike says, then the guy 30 minutes later wins the Oscar for Best Actor.
Best Actor, yeah.
I mean,
Mike, I think that would be that he just gave him a lick that's gonna make him a bunch of money.
Well, Chris Rock is already worth a lot of money. I mean, you're talking about a guy that's worth $100 million at least. I I mean, the guy's filthy rich, but I can't believe Chris Rock actually stood up there and actually finished what he was going to say. I figured he would have just walked off.
It was just a slap. Yeah.
I know, but I mean, it's one of those type things. Like you at the time, you almost thought it was like a joke, like it wasn't even real, and now it's turned out just like a real thing.
Yeah, it was real.
Yeah. Well,
I didn't even watch the Oscars. I don't even know what movies.
No, it's so politically correct, and I didn't watch it, and haven't watched it in years. But boy, you can't miss the I watched.